Hello. Hello. Hey, everybody. Hello. Streaming again. Yeah. How's everybody doing? How's everyone's morning been? If it's been morning for you. I got another Powerade today, but this time it's zero sugar. I think energy drinks like Powerade and Gatorade are better when it's the zero sugar. With the sugar, it's just real thick, you know? Like real heavy. I had a morning. My maintenance people for my apartment complex was going around and they were like, we need to check your air filters and your fire alarms today. And it's like, oh, okay, what time will you be here? It's like any time between 9 in the morning and 5 at night. And I'm like, wow. So I just can't plan at all for that. Fortunately, they showed up really quickly. They showed up at like 10. So that was fine. I had to run up and down the stairs twice very quickly, trying to get the dogs in the bedroom so the dogs would stay out of their way. So as they entered my apartment to do the things they're there for, I'm just they were like breathing heavily, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Everything's going great. Yeah, everyone how's everyone doing? You all excited? We're continuing the quest. Now that I've taken my Tuesday off, it's gonna be just non-stop from here on till Friday. Ooh, yeah. I'll dive right in over here because last time people were asking about bingo boards, and I figured I'd show you the updated bingo board for what we got going on right now. I'm not gonna jump the gun. I know Bumblebee will get crossed off, but I figured I'd update daily based on what we've seen. I for some reason, I don't know what happened. You will see there, the second row farthest on the right-hand side, for some reason the text didn't save. So, I don't know how long it's been like that. It might have been that way this entire time. Which is hilarious. Because I made this 2 years ago. That's insane to me. Like, I keep all my files. I have them organized by year, and it's each video per file. And then I go through and I empty out the old year's files but at the start of the new year. But I was going through last year's stuff, and I'm looking at all my files, and I'm like, I don't see Volume 9 Bingo, and I'm like, it was really that long ago? I had to go back 2 whole years to find this. And so it's hilarious to me to think that I've had this weird typo for 2 whole years, and I've never noticed. So yeah, what we've crossed off so far is the free space. We've crossed off that Jaune and Neo are here. They're in the opening. I also know that they're in the volume, but they're in the opening. That's a giveaway. And then the other thing is, we meet at least 3 new characters. And we have. We've met the cat, the red prince, and Little. And I know we'll meet more along the way. So yeah, I don't want to jump the gun. Someone left a comment about this, and I totally forgot to mention it. And I'm so disappointed that they didn't get warm weather outfits for the island. Like, Weiss still has that giant, stupid petticoat, her long, in-the-way, super hot-looking skirt for this environment. Blake still has her coat on, Yang still has her coat, they all kept their long sleeves on. That's so lame. They have concept art of these specific outfits, but without the extra layers. It took 2 extra years to make this volume, and we couldn't get the layers off the girls? So lame, so boring. That's probably the thing that disappoints me the most. At least on the bingo board. So yeah, not looking good. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think we get a bingo. But we'll see. So yeah, this is what bingo board's looking like for now. That'll get updated as we continue forward. Okay, I guess let's dive in. Yeah, let's not waste any time. I got the episode ready. Let's dive on in. I'll start this playing, and I'll keep talking. I've seen several comments of people being like, you should watch the opening, because it does change at some point in time. But people seem like they've episode 5 it changes, or episode 6 it changes. So I'll just watch it every time. You know, why not? It's a good song. It's a good opening. Now we're entering the I've had this song stuck in my head for the last 2 days also. Like, I was sitting there this morning folding my laundry, and I'm like sitting there like dancing to it in my head. I'm like, dang, it is really good. I want to re-listen to the one during the Red Prince fight as well. That like jazzy one. I don't remember what it's called. But yeah. I like Okay Goodnight. So, from this point on, we're entering the territory of things that I really don't know. Like, I had a general idea for the first 3 episodes. Now, I know, like, maybe one thing from each episode moving forward, if even. And I'm like, there's a whole rest of the episode I don't know what happens. Like, I don't know what happens this episode. I think they meet the caterpillar? Or the caterpillar is the next episode. I don't know. I know we'll see him soon. God, it's such a good song. Oh, it's so good. I just can't stand the visuals. That's the only thing. Alright, let's dive on in. Let's go. Episode 4. Oh, but I do know, the one thing I do know, it's good, we're gonna have it, the cat doing the thing, where it's like, well, you told me their story, there was a lot of extra characters, where'd they all go? Like, some people call it lampshading. I don't know if I would classify it as that. Oh, right off the bat, thank you, Great Bar. Oh, hey, it's the episode that got RWBY excited for... Really? Ooh. Thank you so much, Great Bar. Also, thank you. Oh, and thank you, Wild Pilot. Time to get hype, everybody. Yep. They did go all out animating the cat. I will give them that. Something I was thinking about, and I've seen other people talking about it, is Yang's like ennui about everything. She's so generally just blasé all the time, and she already was. But it's gotten to the point where it's like it's more tiresome than funny. I think I would like the cat's design more if other things looked kind of like him too. I do find it funny. So the designs for the Ever After has mostly just been very colorful and stuff. Specifically, we've been in a very red, this acre, the Red Prince's acre. It's just like a lot of red. And that's supposed to be like, ooh, it's Wonderland. It's so red. And I just remember that RWBY already had an entirely red forest. This feels very average, I would say. Yeah, I wish they played around with colors more. Like some of them, like there was one mouse with Little's crew who had some green on them. And I wish the mice had more unique colors. Like, Little just looks like a normal mouse, you know? God, Little's ugly. Little's so ugly. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm gonna go back for a quick second. I just want to hear what Blake just said again. From one cat to another? You're not a cat. You're a faunus. Okay, sure. Alright, alright. I saw something on Tumblr while the volume was coming out. The idea that there's a lot of, like, insisting Blake is a cat. Like, and it's kind of weird. They've never done this before. Thank you, Anton. Woo, more watch along. Loved catching up on the first one. Enjoyed your takes on a lot of the episode. Everyone be sure to give the stream a like. Yeah. You got it. Thanks, Anton. Thank you so much. Yeah, so from one cat to another is a cat. She's a cat. Like, all the mice called her a cat. I don't know. That's weird. Because Blake hasn't really done anything cat-y before, you know? Like, other than the joke way back in Volume 1, like, she likes tuna a lot, or using the laser pointer to get her to follow Yang in the library. I don't know, it's weird. It just feels weird, doesn't it? Oh, God. Oh, my fucking God. This humor. Oh, God. I don't like their facial expressions this volume. They're very different from before. Like, it's a lot of, like, it leans to one side of their face, and it just doesn't feel right. That's also kind of boring. That the Cheshire Cat is just a cat. Like, I've seen so many cool fan concepts for what a Cheshire Cat character would look like. It's just a cat. Did you get it? He said, did that CL girl from the Vital Festival ever came back in a meaningful way? Wow, RWBY. Look at you, referencing things people have talked about. Wow. Cool. So cool of you. Wowies. I also couldn't help but notice that they only really point out the things that are part of the kind criticisms. Like, it's not, hey, you have too many characters in your story. It's, well, specifically CL. CL, the one people really like, and they want to see her because they think she's cool. Okay, sure. Well, thank you, Throwaway. The volume gets better towards the end. Nice. I've heard that. I knew the first 3 episodes were going to be really tough. Oh, it's so exhausting explaining our 10-year-long story. Ugh. So irritating people would have questions about our story. But what was her lesson? He said all Alex did was she was hilariously concerned with trivial things. Which I I would be pretty concerned. Thank you, Not All That Evil. The volume gets better towards the end. Man, it's always the back and forth. What was the moral? Have they mentioned what the moral of Alex's story was? The girl who fell through the world? Thanks, Excalibur. Wow, thank you. Yeah, the message of Volume 9 is beautiful. Okay. Okay. Let's keep going. I do like the bridges between the acres. I think that's cool. Yang just said, thank you, Karma. Thank you. Not gonna lie, just thinking about how it's been 10 years since RWBY started gives me crippling depression. Damn. And thank you again, Great Bar. You missed the one with Ozpin and Oscar being problematic. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I did hear it. I just had nothing to comment on it. Thank you guys so much. It's crazy. Like, I vividly remember living with my parents, like, almost going to graduate high school when the Red trailer came out for the first time. And I just think back on how much my life has been through since that point. But Yang just said, this place feels like it's pieced together by puzzle, like it's just puzzle pieces stuck together, basically. How does anyone make sense of it? Which I find so weirdly, it's weird that it's weird to them, you know? Like, Remnant is already kind of pieced off. Like, it's like, that's the desert place. That's the island place. That's the snow place. And just because the Ever After is like, this is the red place, and this one over here is gonna be, like, the forest place. Like, just because it has a more distinct bridge between them, it doesn't feel any less disjointed than Remnant was. Thank you so much, Mason. Overall, I felt like this volume was one of the more cohesive ones. Although it's pretty low bar for Volume 8, too. I think the idea of each episode walking up to a new interesting thing and then leaving to do another interesting thing for the next episode. I was 8 when the show first started. Damn, you can vote now. You're, like, old enough to, like, you're considered an adult now. But yeah, what was I saying? I was blabbering on about something not important, I'm sure. Let's keep going. I do like the creativity of the different acres. I do appreciate that. Ooh, we've done something very creative with our directing and cinematography. We've done something cool and creative, guys. So when we were having a lighthearted, jovial moment, we were in the bright, red area, everything's bright and fun, and then as we've moved into the darkness of the garden, the conversation has also in turn turned darker, as we're talking about relics in Salem. It's clever, smart stuff. Visual storytelling right here. It's not an extreme technique or anything like that. It's a pretty basic technique, but RWBY very rarely does things like this with its staging, you know. At most it'll move the camera. It's like, they'll talk about it a lot in the Volume 2/3 commentary for if you watch that commentary with the directors and stuff, they're really jazzed that they're like, oh, put the camera low on Ironwood so he looks bigger and taller. And it's like, yeah, that's a pretty basic technique, and that's basically the only one they do. So yeah, things like this, it's not difficult, but I appreciate it a lot, and it's nice to see. It's nice to see something a little bit smarter going on here. Rubes. Who's ever called her Rubes before? God, Little's face is ugly. Little's face looks like ass. I liked how we almost had a moment with Ruby, but we had to go back into the comedy. Yeah, comedy. Yeah. Although I am gonna point out, everyone saw that Ruby's really going through it. They've all seen it. They've seen it multiple times now. They've seen Ruby is emotionally going through it right now. Just gonna throw that out there. I do think they kind of shot themselves in the foot by just straight up showing this entity, the caterpillar guy, in the opening. Sorry. I got distracted. I was looking at the herbalist's design. Sorry. There's a crest on his chest. Let me move some of my floaty dudes out of the way. So this crest on his chest right here. That feels very familiar. It kind of looks like Jaune's arcs for his shield. But it also kind of looks like Salem's arcs for her family symbol from like the fairy tale spin-off show cartoon that they had. Something about it. Something about it. Something about it. So it's like a theory brain going off. Get my little floaty guys back up in here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just more blaseness from Yang. Just do something else, Yangs. Jeez. I like his design. Too quiet, though. Again, no background music. I feel like now, in this, like, mushroom garden would be the best place for, like, really wacky, eerie music to go on. I bet a lot of the pre-production for this volume was just building the assets for the environment. Okay, so he was like, what are you again? And she goes, we're Huntresses. I assumed because she was trying to avoid saying we're human, because last time they did that, like, everyone freaked out. And then he's like, but what does a Huntress do? And now she's acting all exasperated. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's like, if you're gonna sell the lie, basically, if you're gonna skirt around the truth, you gotta, like, lean into it. I do think there is a very interesting discussion to be had that people question. The first time anyone's ever questioned them, are you good, Huntresses? Like, are you doing a good job? Everyone's reaction is kind of like, oh, like they never thought about it before, or like they were too afraid to acknowledge it. I would be hard pressed to really even call them Huntresses, honestly. Like, Huntress seems to be a side gig, and running around failing to save the kingdoms is their main priority. Yeah, I've had a lot of production was just building, because like all these things in his hut, it looks cool, and it's a nice amount of detail, and I bet that's part of the reason why it took 2 whole years, like a year longer than average, because they had to rebuild all of their environmental assets from the ground up, basically. Oh boy, this is it. This is the one other thing I know of. I didn't realize it was episode 4. This conversation with themselves scene. And I'm gonna say from the get-go, I think it's stupid. Yeah, you can call out Blake and Ruby's names, but not Weiss, because Weiss doesn't matter. She's not important. Okay, so, alright, okay. I feel like it was just an excuse to throw out their Volume 1 character models. Because I feel like they made them in their engines. Primarily they used it for, like, the Volume 4 character trailers. And then they keep throwing them in the openings, so you really know they really like going back and referencing these original character designs. And also then they can use it for, like, the Justice League crossover movie and whatnot, things like that. I feel like their insistence on continually trying to bring up the past is basically them quietly admitting that it was better back then. They had a better idea of what they were doing back then. RWBY was at its most popular when these were the outfits the girls were wearing. And that's why they keep referencing them. Because then you'll see it and you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember when I liked the show. I think they look horrible in this new engine. I think their old outfits look like complete dog shit in this engine. Yang here, her tits are gigantic. They're huge. And it's so weird. Like, her head is huge. Her tits are double the size of her head. And then her arms and legs are super skinny. Like, she looks so weird. She looks like a 2-year-old drew her character proportions, you know? That's not Yang. Yang was thick. Yeah, you had every opportunity to go back and change the thickness of her legs to, like, at least be somewhat proportionate with each other, and they've bumbled it up so badly. Thank you, Not All That Evil. I thought it was a bold choice for RWBY to admit almost none of the main characters have had... It's scrolled by too fast. Almost none of the main characters have had a character arc since Volume 2. You're not wrong. They just keep repeating these same concepts over and over again with these characters. And it's like, oh, well, it was really interesting when Pyrrha died, when Penny died. Let's just do it again. You know, like, people really liked it when we did it this first time, so we're just doing that again. Blake looks the worst, without a doubt, in the new outfit. Her old outfit in this new engine, because her hair is not black anymore. It's like this weird grayish purple, and it totally mismatches with her black and white outfit. Her boobs feel weirdly flat, which is weird. Like, not flat like she's flat-chested, more like they're just sagging infinitely. Which is so weird, seeing giganto melon tits Yang followed up immediately with forgot to put on her bra, Blake. And this is so stupid. You could be a human or you could be a cat. What the fuck are you talking about? Nothing about this makes sense. In what universe? Who decided? I know they're trying to do a duality thing. It only really worked with Yang. The argument of, would you, if you could have your old arm back, would you? Would that make you happier? Would that make your life better? And that's like a really cool, it's like, yeah, we figured it out. That's a good thing to do for Yang. And then they had no idea what to do with Blake and Weiss. Blake's is, do you want to not be a race anymore? You can't be discriminated against if you're not a race that's discriminated against. You can't be considered a minority if you're no longer a minority. What? Are you, what? And the other option being cat. Do you want to be just a cat? Oh, okay, well that sounds great. Do I want to be me, a person, a living entity, or an animal? Which was kind of fucked up, because that's the, like, racist thing that they say in this universe. Like, if you, like, the lyrics to the Black trailer. Treated like an animal. Called nothing more than an animal. That's so fucked up, and it's so weird to see past Blake being like, wouldn't it be better if you were just a literal cat? Or a human? Why be a faunus at all, when you could just be one of the other things? It's so weird. It feels like, almost kind of feels like Rooster Teeth, by using the past models for this scene, it feels almost like Rooster Teeth is making fun of the idea that people liked it better back then. Like, it's like, our girls confidently are gonna be like, no, I am moving forward. I'm not going to give up my literal entity to become either a non-minority or a literal animal. And you, my past self, you're wrong, and you're shallow. You're incorrect. And it's so weird to be like, hey, those past designs, the volumes 1 through 3 versions of these girls, look how wrong they are. Look how much our girls have overcome themselves now. It's like, what are you talking about? What are you doing? If we were gonna do this with Blake, it could have been freedom fighter. Go with she fought a race war, you know? Go with the freedom fighter thing. Have this be a commentary, rather than be like, do you want to be a faunus, a human, or a cat? Have it be like, do you think racism is over? Are you going to keep fighting? Is it worthless? Was everything you've done for nothing so far? Have something like that. Have that be the challenge Blake faces against. You know what I was watching earlier today? Literally, this morning, I was watching an episode of Magical Knight Rayearth. In this episode, the three heroes fall into a pit similar to this, where they have to face some important thing to themselves, and one of them, the character Fu, fought herself. And it was so much better. Loving who you are, but fighting who you are. What a great concept. And here RWBY is, dropping every ball. Like always. I mentioned that this was the one thing I also knew. Like, I had watched clips from episode 1, and then I've seen this scene. Because I read about it, and then I was so bamboozled that this was actually what they decided to do, that I looked up the clips on YouTube. And I cannot believe how stupid this is. Yes, Rayearth, by the way, Nina B, Magical Girl May, keep your eyes out. Full review, keep your eyes out. Rayearth, full review, this Magical Girl May. So, get hype, yeah! But yeah, this is so terrible. What terrible decisions we've done here. So many dumb things. I've seen other people comment, like, it should have been other people. Like, one person on Tumblr, their post was really high, marked for a while there. It was, have it be, like, villains that they faced. Like, have Blake facing, Adam. Have Yang facing Raven. Have Weiss facing Winter. And then have RWBY facing Ironwood, you know? Because that would be so... Because, like, have it be a person... I don't know. Having it be them past selves... It doesn't do the thing they wanted it to do. And their execution works infinitely worse than what they were aiming for. It's simple to just be a cat. Don't fight for equality, just be a cat. Okay. And then Weiss's thing. Weiss's thing is, oh, but the Schnee name. You were fighting to try to make it better. Why bother? This isn't a thing Weiss has dealt with in years. You know what's going on with the Schnee name? Her father was arrested. And then died. You want to know who cares about the Schnee name? And the Schnee reputation? Fucking no one. Because Atlas fell. No one cares about the name of a celebrity when the world is falling apart and an evil witch on a giant whale is attacking. No one cares. And you know who definitely hasn't cared? Weiss. She has not mentioned her bad blood with her family or wanting to change their name in so long. She had her final moment of, you're not my family anymore, Team RWBY are my family, back in volume, 7. Again, that repeating thing that I was talking about, it used to be good, and now we're gonna do it again, because we liked it last time. It's so weird. And then this is the stupidest. Immediately. I don't need to face this dilemma, this as deep as a puddle dilemma our past selves are presenting with us. Immediately, Weiss, Blake, and Yang are like, no, I'm good. This is a thing I keep thinking about, is like a conflict will be presented to them, and they will immediately resolve it. Which one's Yang's arm? Oh, there's Yang's arm. Okay. Never mind. Oh god, my past self is telling me I could be a cat. I don't want to be a cat. Okay. Like, why present these concepts as if it's going to be an interesting dilemma, an interesting argument? And I know Ruby will have her moment, but why not any of the others? It makes this already half-assed, ill-thought-out element even worse that it's so quickly brushed past. And I'm gonna keep going. With their, like, pre-built monologue about how they've grown. Because Rooster Teeth loves having it where a character sits there and insists they've grown a whole lot over the years. Because they can't show it, so they need a character to just say it. I am the granddaughter of a hero and the child of a villain. Shut the fuck up. Fucking put your Twilight-ass poetry away, Weiss. No one cares. The granddaughter of a hero. You mean Nicholas Schnee, who started the whole dust mine thing with the slavery and whatnot? I don't know how much of a hero he could be considered. You also can't just name drop Papa Schnee here as if he's been a character this whole time. Never once has Papa Schnee ever been referenced before. Ever. Never, ever, ever has her grandfather ever been referenced except for Ice Queendom. And that's what it is. That's what it was. Because Ice Queendom came out, and then Rooster Teeth just assimilates things and pretends like that was always how it worked. And it's like, yeah, Weiss really loves Big Nicholas, her grandfather. They had a really nice, touching moment in Ice Queendom. So now we're just gonna pretend like it's always been that way. Like, she's always considered her grandfather a hero. You can't insist he's a hero, but then also never, ever, ever, in the entire history of this show, act like he's been anything to you. And the daughter of a villain. So is Yang. Raven's a villain too. You're not special. It's just such a dumb line. They really had no idea what to do with Weiss. They have no idea what they're doing with Weiss anymore. And then this final part. And I am a huntress. I'm a huntress. I'm a huntress. Thank you, Dat Cameraman. First ever super chat. Reject fondest, return to cat critter. Wouldn't you rather be a non-sapient being? Wouldn't the Schnee Company also be defunct? Yeah, it is, like, in ruin. Like, and I don't think anyone's gonna be like, hey, are you paying for your dust crystals? And it's like, the world is exploding. I don't think I don't think paying for dust is a thing we should really be worrying about right now. But yeah, everyone just sitting there being like, I'm a huntress. Meanwhile, I'm remembering in Volume 7, Pomp and Circumstance. That's the name of the episode. I remember. It's episode 4, I believe. Ironwood gives them all their huntress licenses. They become official huntsmen now. They are huntresses. And everyone's reaction is, wow, this kind of is stupid. Well, you know what? After everything we've been through, being a huntress, I don't actually really care anymore. That this is not something I even want. And I'm gonna look at Ironwood like he's dumb and like I really just don't care. Because I don't want this anymore. This isn't really my goal anymore after everything we've been through. And then, like, even Crow was like, can you guys, like, cheer up? Fuck. You got a good job position. That's kind of neat. Could you at least pretend to be happy? And now here we are. And they're like, I'm a huntress. I'm so proud of being a huntress. No, you're not. We don't just get to pretend. We don't just get to play it both ways. You don't get to shit all over Ironwood because I don't even want this anymore. It seems kind of pointless now, and then also turn around and look at your past self and be like, I'm a huntress. You don't understand. I've developed so much. So yeah, dumb. Real damn dumb. Stupid. Oh, but not Ruby. Now this is interesting. Ruby's dilemma, because she actually gets a dilemma. What a surprise. Conflicts in your stories make them interesting. Weird. But yeah, the dilemma of Ruby sitting there and thinking, did we fuck up? Did we do everything wrong? Was that all a mistake? Am I even doing the right thing? That's interesting. Although I'm gonna... So it's common knowledge that RWBY is just built up of, the writers stealing things that they like from things that they watched and shoving it into RWBY. This feels like they watched Steven Universe Future, and went, we could do that for RWBY too, and now they're doing that here. If you've seen Steven Universe Future, it's basically exactly this. Thank you, Demon's Liberation. She's a Huntress. She's a Huntress. You're a Huntress. I'm a Huntress. Are there any other Huntresses around here I should know about? Good quote. Good job. Good one. But yeah, if you've seen Steven Universe Future, you know that this is just 100% what they're doing here. The person who always had to be the rock for others to rely on is at their breaking point after their own emotional turmoil, and that's this. It's this here. That's what it is. They've just taken that and quite literally just moved it over here. Let's move forward. A lot of people don't like Steven Universe Future. I liked it a lot. So yeah, I know I harped a lot on a lot of that. Really, it's just the Weiss, Blake, and Yang bit. That's incredibly stupid. RWBY's thing is actually very interesting. I've always liked the idea that internally RWBY is a very torn up person over, because she doesn't ever talk about Summer. But Summer is clearly very, very important to her. The few times Summer does get brought up, or she goes to visit her grave, Summer is very, very important to her, but she doesn't ever talk about it. So the idea that she's torn up over doing the same thing, following the same footsteps, does she want to? Would it matter? Thank you, Jared! Them, I'm a Huntress. Me, I'm Radio Rebel. Nice. Yeah. So yeah, RWBY's thing, really, really cool. Everyone else, missed opportunities. Like, we had this. Also, it took too long. Once again, I'm catching the drift that what every episode is just the first big half of it is walking to a place, and then the chunk in the middle is meeting a character, and then there's a part finally at the very end that's like the thing of the episode. It means the first 70% of each episode has been very walk and talk, which I think talking can be very good, and sometimes they say interesting things, but it feels very like we could have shortened the walking bit and instead expanded the dilemma with themselves bit, you know? But that would probably be harder to animate. Oh, okay. Thank you, Great Bar. So a weird thing is it feels like it's supposed to be a callback to what you want to do back in Volume 2, before Ruby knew what she wanted to do and now the others do. I do agree. And I like the idea of going back to that conversation. Thank you. M3D? Med. Volume 9, pretty solid in my opinion. One of the better volumes, and it's nice to see the writers improving. This is all by RWBY standards, though. Volume 4.5 out of 10. No, I agree. It is interesting to go back and reflect on how things have changed over the years. And even if we do go with a very on-the-nose type thing like this, I think having just a conversation, and I think that's the shitty part, that they don't get to hear what each other says. Like if it was a conversation where everyone got to see what everyone else was saying, I think it would be much more interesting, so then they could converse with each other over the things that they've seen, and it's like, well, do you want to be a cat or whatever? Do you still worry about your family name? Things like that. Having them address it is nice, but I wish they could address it as a unit, so that they could converse with each other about it. Wasn't expecting the hole to open up. I managed to pause on, like, the exact time. Have I noticed that in the intro, Ruby is slowly getting further away from her team? Yeah, I have. Yeah. Like, during the running part? Oh, that's the end of the episode. Okay. Alright, sure. Hum. How do I feel about episode 4? Well, I'm conflicted, I'm gonna say. I'm conflicted. Because parts of it I did like. But then there were parts that I really fucking hated. I mean, it wasn't great. It wasn't amazing. It was visually more fun, though. And the parts that were annoying weren't as bad as I was expecting them to be. Like the Curious Cat being like, you have so many characters in your story, and they're all, like, exasperated about it. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. But it looked fine. It visually was fun. But it was just, the whole stuff in the smoke, the part that's supposed to be the climax of this episode, felt ill thought out. Thank you, noise dude. It honestly feels like WWBY, WBY, face themselves so easily just to drive home Ruby's inner turmoil. Like, did these guys ever play Persona 4? For real. And I understand, like, you really want to highlight Ruby is, like, really lost. And an easy way to do that is to make everyone else be very, like, they know what they got going on. They know what they're moving towards. But it just kind of feels like a waste of time at that point. Like, did I like the herbalist's voice? I did. He was cool. I don't recognize the voice actor, but he was cool. I liked him. I liked his design. Good voice all around. But yeah, it just, at that point, it kind of feels like a waste. Like, remember how the characters used to be? Let's focus on that for a little bit. It felt far too short, and also way too long. You know? The interesting part was Ruby talking to herself, and that only lasts, like, 4 minutes? 4 or 5? Starts at 15:50, goes until 17:01. So yeah, like, 2-ish minutes. And, because that was the interesting part, that was the interesting conflict for them to face. I think it would have been better if we could have somehow had Weiss, Blake, and Yang separate and have Ruby's dilemma be her own thing. Like, for example, they enter the herbalist's shop and they get the feeling, hey, maybe I don't want to be here. Little wakes up, freaks out, and is like, we gotta get out of here. And her and the Smalls jump out of Ruby's arms, and they manage to get out the door just in time, and then the herbalist just blasts smoke at just Ruby. While Ruby's going through her emotional turmoil, the Smalls have an antics-type sequence where they're running around the herbalist's shop, the herbalist is trying to stop them, and they have, like, a weird small fight with the herbalist, basically. or some sort of thing like protecting the herbalist's shop and whatnot. And basically just like an action sequence for them to try to like get back into the room with Ruby, and then Ruby has her thing with her smoke self. I think that'd be more interesting, because seeing the other girls talk about how they're totally cool and they know exactly what they're doing with their lives didn't help. It didn't elevate anything story-wise. And I think giving more time to focus on just what Ruby's going through is more interesting. And then we could all speculate on what the others would have seen if they got smoked up as well. Thank you, Life Metal. Inner Blake, wannabe, insert species slur here. Yeah. for real. Oh, and thank you again, Wild Pilot. Actually, where's Little's trip? Yeah, because Little was asleep the whole time. I guess I didn't get one. Thank you, Demon's Liberation! Just like a bunch in a row, wow! The only thing I liked about this episode is when the herbalist talked about how you need to know who you are now before you become who you need to be. That is interesting. I get the feeling the herbalist was not a bad person. I don't think they were trying to hurt anybody. And I think the trip, the smoke trip, was basically just a way for them to get the answers that he wanted. Because he kept asking them things, and they kept being like, I don't know what you're asking. He's like, are you good huntresses? I don't know, what does that matter? He's like, you're not, because he's trying to get somewhere, he's trying to help them, but he doesn't know the answers. So I think that's what the trip was for, so they could face themselves and get the answers themselves. But yeah, I feel like there were other things we could have done with this episode. The walking took way too long. I will say that. Way too fucking long just walking around. We didn't even get, like... So we were having moments where characters were, like, talking about important things that was, like, bothering them. Like, episode 2, Weiss starts talking about how Atlas fell and she has nowhere left to go home to. But we haven't had anything like that in the last few episodes. Like, we'll briefly touch on it. I just want them to focus on it more. That's the conversation that's interesting to me. Not 17 minutes of, like, cat slapstick, you know? Let's move on. Let's go to the next episode. Episode 5. The Parfait Predicament. That's the thing. Yeah, the Executor. So much walking and talking. That's always the problem when you have a plot that's basically... The characters need to get from point A to point B, and that's a lot of RWBY's plots, is characters are a place, and they need to go to another place. And the best thing you can do is basically what they're doing here, where each episode there's like a little mini interesting thing for them to run into. But it's very easy to make it just a lot of, and they're walking, and they talk a little. I got orange flavored Powerade. I don't know if I like it. It's not orange enough, I'm gonna say. I am paying attention. Picky physics. I am paying attention. I'm noticing. I'm looking. I've seen no changes. Maybe it's the next episode. Thank you, Wild Pilot. Now to introduce an interesting character and take away another's only interesting aspect. Ooh. What could that mean? Is it wrong that I'm nervous? I fear I'll have a mental breakdown one more episode. Oh no. Is Jaune crying? Is he crying? Has he always been crying? Jaune's on screen very briefly. I'm gonna be honest, I don't have very good eyesight. Like, I have the giant glasses for a reason. I didn't notice him crying. We'll double check again in the next episode, like this next episode. Weiss, you don't need to explain what happened last episode. We just saw it. You don't need to explain it again. Roman numerals are hard. I never get them right. Yeah, I will consider, at first I was very nonplussed with the environments of of the uh of the Ever After. And I guess it was just that jungle area they started in. Because the rest of them I've liked a lot. Thank you, Lavaros. You can say what you will about the rest of the season thus far. Desecrating is fun, but Robbie Damon is killing it as Cat. Robbie Damon's a 10 out of 10 voice actor. Like, it's hard to top. Like, sometimes good voice actors can do bad performances, specifically in RWBY. Robin. But Robbie knows what he's doing, and he does nail it. Which is good for being such a pivotal character of this volume, that he does such a good job at it. But I would expect no less from Mr. Damon. Okay. Okay. So they're explaining things. They're explaining, like, when you... Who voiced Robin? Christina V. She's also the voice actress. She's Homura from Madoka Magica. She does a lot of things. She's a very, very good voice actress. So the thing they're explaining is... If you lose your purpose... You sorta die. You know, he says you do, but you don't. You know, that Wonderland way. And then you disappear into the ground, and then you come back, and you need to re-find your purpose, basically. So it's not just Little's tribe that does that. Tribe, crew, team... Ascending. Not dying. Like reincarnating. Weiss just said that's impossible. Things have to die someday. You're talking to a Technicolor cat inside of a fairy tale. I don't think the impossibility of reincarnation, basically, is that improbable. It's like, okay, so Weiss, Blake, and Yang seem so stuck on repeat. It's like, when you get, like an old school Fire Emblem game, like Fire Emblem Awakening, for example. You know, after you get your characters on your team, every time they have, like, some stock thing they need to say, because they don't necessarily have, like, a cutscene for them to express specific dialogue, you might just have them there, and they'll have to say something, like, as they open up a treasure chest, they'll say something, and it'll be in character. A lot of times it's, I know, Awakening being old school. It's old for me. I was the first one I played, so I tend to think old school with Awakening. But back then, like, they would have, like, a very, like, stock things that they would say. Like, they characters could be more interesting, but, for example, there was one character, Virion was his name, and he was a flirt. And that was his basic link. And if you, like, developed him with other characters, you gotta learn more about him and stuff. But if, like, there was a moment like that, it would basically be like, oh, various flirt dialogue, you know. And it feels like Weiss, Blake, and Yang are stuck in that mentality. Like, Weiss says, that's impossible. I don't believe it. That's impossible. This doesn't make sense. Like, all volume. And Yang is just, I'm pissy. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. Things are, I don't want to do this. And Blake is basically just there. like she has not really expressed much of anything since being here. She doesn't seem amazed by the ever after. She doesn't seem confused or scared or happy. Which is just interesting. Not fun, but it's interesting. Ew, a fade. Ew, I hate fade transitions. Ew, I hate them. This bird. We just walked past a bird. This bird character has such a unique design for being a background character. Fascinating. I was thinking about this yesterday, how everyone's reaction to seeing just a regular mouse, but it talks, was like, oh, whoa, this place is wacky! And then we've consistently come across more and more, infinitely more bananas things. More interesting, more crazy things. And they're just like, yeah, okay. Yeah, that's there. I would think, would there not be an interesting reaction to the bird man? I don't know, maybe from our Faunus character. Do you think this bird man ever wants to be just a bird or just a man? No, Blake, you're not going to throw any interesting... Alright, fine, sure, fine. Hold on. I have to show you all something. I gotta move my things out of the way. Hold on, 1 second. Look at this! Look at this little red bird right here! Oh my god, it's so fucking cute! It's the cutest thing I've ever seen! That was it. Just wanted to see that. Okay. So you're supposed to be something. You're supposed to have a way you do something. And that's why the king ascended, became the prince. And that's why the prince was the way he was, because you're supposed to do something. So the idea of having a specific purpose is the theme we're working with here. Critter would probably make that plus cheaper than RT. I would do my best. Blake just said there was never an explanation of Ascension in the story, and the cat went, yes, exposition is very boring. Even this conversation on the whole was rather tedious. You're not doing it, Rooster Teeth. That's not lampshading. I know that's what you think you're doing. It's not. You can have very interesting exposition. Lots of really good shows and movies have exposition and make it not boring and tedious. Just because you do it, just because you point it out, And you're like, yeah, every time I try to explain something, it's boring as shit. Even the characters in this scene don't like it. It's like, you don't, just because you point it out, it doesn't make it cute, it doesn't make it better. Ew, another fade transit. I fucking hate fade transitions. Okay. I hate fade transitions. I think they're hideous. I think they're the ugliest editing choice you can make as a content creator. I hate fade transitions. And RWBY very rarely does it. And every time they do, I hate it. It's so ugly. I would take a Star Wars style weird ass whole screen swipe transition over a fade. I hate it. If you're gonna fade, it has to be an interesting fade. It's such, I know, no one's gonna agree with me. No one else cares. It's just me. I just hate, it's so gross. And in this thrilling episode of RWBY, we get a nose hair from a leprechaun. Cool. Ugh, I'm just so unhappy. Once again, I'm Yang. Oh god, must hate RWBY doing it. Which ones? Rooster Teeth? Probably. Everyone else abandons RWBY? Are you fucking kidding me? What? You're just all abandoning RWBY to hang out with a cat instead? Yeah, fade exists, critter, and I took that personally. Why didn't we do this last time? Every single one of you are gonna ditch RWBY for the cat? Really? Every single one of you? Not a single one? Teamwork, good job. No one gets to talk to RWBY about interesting things now. That's why I'm upset. Like, have Weiss stay. And have them talk to Weiss. Have them just talking to Weiss. Oh, but we get little. Great. Worst character little. Yeah, Yang is such a good sister. And also, ugh, I hate the cat, and I don't want to go with him, but also I'm going to anyway. So dumb. Redbird should have been the guide. You're right. Hey, the sword! Hello. That was a 10 out of 10. A million out of 10 shot right there. A blacksmith making a butterfly wing. That's good shit right there. That tells me so much. That tells me I'm in Wonderland right off the bat. Mmm. Oh, she's not wearing a mask. Ooh. Oh, she's cool. Ah, this blacksmith lady, immediate new favorite. She's cool. I was expecting her 100%. Okay, real talk. I was expecting her to basically just be the blacksmith from The Mandalorian. I thought they were just gonna straight up copy that character, just wholesale copy that character, the blacksmith from Mandalorian, and just put her in this basically. I'm glad I was wrong. This is cool. I'm into this. What was that? What does that mean? I'm. Was everyone. What are you being a bitch about? Oh! Oh! As soon as things start getting interesting, that we go back to the stupidity, and I'm mad about it. Because it was getting so good there for a second. Fuck. And then we go, RWBY, what are you doing being, like, sad and alone? Stop being a loser. Why don't you have your nose hair yet? Come on, we have everything else already. God, like, just, we were going through an interesting moment. Fuck. This teapot lady is just like a teapot but with anime eyes on it. It's like one of those how to draw anime books that you see at like Walmart and whatever. Just a thing, but you slap like a filter anime eyes on top of it. All right, I like the teapot lady. She's fun. It carries a mother's promise, so she's giving the teapot her like ruby symbol. We can't just say things. You know, you had a million things to give her one of your bullets. You know, you got like a whole fucking belt full of bullets, and I give you this. It's an explosion at your fingertips. Fucking do anything. You just don't give her your symbol. And also, you don't get to act like this symbol is a mother's promise. Like, have her, like, the symbols might as well not exist in this show so far. You know? Like, it's just a pattern on their clothes more often than not. It's like in the first episode when they mentioned Blake's weapon, Gamble Shroud. Like, you don't get to have these interesting elements go 10 years with basically just, like, not referencing them. And now all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, these things, they've been here the whole time. You know, they're symbols, they're weapon names. What do you mean, what's a Jabberwocker? You said it! In the first episode, didn't she? When she was listing off a bunch of things, she's like, Alex, she came here. She met the Curious Cat, the Red King, a Jabberwocker. Am I wrong? Did Blake herself not say the Jabberwocker before? And now she's like, what's a Jabberwocker? What? Would you not surmise it's the thing you threw a rock at on the beach in episode 1? Here it is. Yay, cool. I like doll-sized versions of the characters better than small versions of the characters. That's more fun. Thank you, Excalibur. Yeah, the symbol having prominence felt weird. Felt like they should have talked about it earlier. My only real critique of this episode. Fair, I get that. Yes, and the thing, she could have, like, talked about it to the blacksmith, because she saw the weapon that reflected, like, summer that one time. We could have done more, because it's only been alluded to Ruby, not Summer. Like, it's on her gravestone, but we haven't seen Summer's gravestone since Volume 3. You know, how many people are gonna remember that? You know? Oh, the bird came back! Aw, damn. Bird got fucked up. That's sad. Good music. Good music. I wasn't expecting a fight, I'm gonna be honest. It's the same thing as last time. Again, just light up your semblances and you win automatically. I'll talk about that fight real quick. Slow. It was a very slow fight. They all kind of just stood in one place, and they very, like, methodically did their moves, and then they killed it, because they just activated the win button by turning on their semblances. So, like, not a great fight. Worse, definitely. Worse than the one versus the Red Prince and his army. Weird. Weird that we're 5 episodes in and there's only been 2 fights so far. I like the songs a lot. I think the songs are great. But they don't sound like RWBY, which I think is a good thing, but it's a very, like you can feel it. You can feel it's a different band doing the songs. I think it's for the better. I personally was not really loving a lot of RWBY's songs for a very long while now. So I like the songs a lot, but it does feel very different from what RWBY has had before. Whether or not you think that's a good or bad thing is up to you, I suppose. Let's keep going. I'm glad also, so RWBY's just not helping with fights or anything. We had this whole arc of her learning how to fight without her weapon. Like, she had a whole hand-to-hand combat arc in Volume 5, and it was stupid, but she did it. And now it's just like, oh, you gotta run away, RWBY. She was just at the blacksmith's. Does she not have anything? Like, you can't, like, grab something from one of these stalls and help? Can Blake not hand her? Because Blake has her, like, gun/sword ribbon. And then separately, Blake has her, like, sheath. Could she not give RWBY the sheath for RWBY to work with for a while we're still trying to find Crescent Rose? Because I think it's not good, at least to, like, just, like, a in case something happens type deal. Because, like moments like this where, oh, we need to fight, but RWBY doesn't have a weapon on her. What if they didn't come back in time? Was she just gonna run? I guess her semblance lets her run, so it wouldn't be terrible, but... Ugh. I heard the knight's voice. Thank you, Brian. The only really bothers me, but how did WBY know when to stop eating? Is there like a part of your brain that says, this is your default height, eat anymore and you'll grow bigger? It makes me think of like, in the Lord of the Rings, the second one, Two Towers. Merry and Pippin come across a spring. I think it's only in the extended cut, which is the only version you should be watching. But Merry and Pippin, after meeting Treebeard, they wake up and there's like a spring nearby, and they realize when they drink from the spring, they get taller. And they do. They just drink from the spring and they get a little bit taller, and then Treebeard comes back and shenanigans. But yeah, that's just a thing, that Merry and Pippin are now canonically taller than the average hobbit because they drank from the Ent spring. Thank you, Cursed Knight. Ironwood is not a genocide general. That goes to my man, Lord of the First. I have no idea what you're referencing, sorry. But thank you so much. How do you pronounce WBY? Would it just be Wooby? I guess. But that feels like you would misinterpret what I'm saying. Like, Ruby and Wooby sound very similar to each other. I'll just keep saying WBY. Let's keep going. Yeah, run! After our big ol' moment where we were like, oh yeah, we're huntresses. We protect people. We save those who can't protect ourselves. Now watch as these huntresses run away from a fight. Good job. We killed one, and then we don't want to do it anymore. We fought literal armies and armies and armies of Grimm, but now, can't be bothered. Might as well just let all these civilians die who can't protect themselves, but because we're huntresses, and this is what we do. Run away. You could have stayed and fought. You've beaten every encounter easily. You've demolished every fight you've had. You beat one Jabberwocker in like fucking a minute, if even. Not even, I think. Like, you beat it so quickly. It took no effort. You didn't use any dust, no bullets. Why did you run? You could have stayed. And I know the cat was like, if the Jabberwocker eats you, you don't ascend, you just die. Well, you just die in the real world anyway. Like if a Grim eats you, you just die. Why did you run? Especially if you don't just get to sit here and be all sad about it. You decided this. You could have stuck around and tried fighting more. Yeah, why are you running? Why are you running? You don't just get to reference it and make it better. The dialogue in this volume has some of the shittest dialogue they've ever had. Amazingly, a show that already had some of the worst dialogue ever got worse somehow. Just by, like, referencing their problems. Who could it be? Who could it be? OMG. I knew, guys. It was really hard to avoid this kind of spoiler. And I wasn't trying to avoid spoilers for a good chunk of it to begin with. I don't like it. And of course he named his stupid jackalope Juniper. Why do some animals not talk? Why do some animals not talk? Because all the animals have talked so far. But Juniper doesn't. Juniper's just like a steed. Why not? It's weird. Yeah, pretends to be shocked. Oh my god. Like if I was a reaction channel, I definitely would have been like, "What? I had no idea. Oh my god." Even though I knew and I would be able to hype it up a lot. The Rusted Knight is Granny Goddess. Goodest. Thanks, Sky Slasher. A lot of people call this Dilf Jaune. I call this Ruined Jaune. I liked Jaune. I liked Jaune a lot. Jaune used to be one of my favorite characters. Even when he was awful. Even when he was, like, in the throes of his, like, I'm insisting on being pissy and bitchy about everything. I like Jaune conceptually. There's a lot of things that I think is fine. And I even liked the banana hair. Everyone's made fun of his banana hair, but really it was just, like, when he was a frozen image, it looked bad. When it was in motion, it was fine. And now, here they are. It's Jaune. The special snowflake. Special little Jaune. He got his own special little arc, because he's the special addition to our special little team, and our special little filler season. While Team RWBY gets to sit around and do jokey joke moments, and slapstick, and gwaha funny funnies, Jaune is developing, and he has his whole new batch of trauma he gets to deal with, because he's a special little snowflake Jaune. I'm amazed it took this long for him to show up. But why? It's something that baffles me so much. Because I've thought about this plot point so much leading up to these moments. The moment I learned about it. Yes, Snowflake Banana. Yes. Yes, Snowflake Banana. That's Jaune. I don't understand. It's like I was saying last time, from like a storyteller perspective. I don't understand the decision to have this be a weird side filler season. It ain't even Dilf Jaune, it's Homeless Addict Jaune. Yes, Demon's Liberation. People called him a Dilf, and I'm like, you are incorrect. That is not what a Dilf looks like. I don't understand. Why did we do this with Jaune? In what part of their grand story narrative did "and then Jaune is suddenly much older" make sense? Thank you, Great Bar. Okay, so I give a bit of a complaint on this. I like this Jaune arc, but he isn't special for his arc goes along with RWBY, and I like that the two leaders are struggling. That is cool. I do like, and that's one of the reasons why I like Jaune, is because he's a very good contrast with RWBY. Jaune and RWBY develop together very regularly in very interesting ways. Like, he has a brief conversation with her in Volume 4 when they get to Kuroyuri and they're waiting for Ren and Nora. And that's a great moment. It's very reminiscent of in Volume 1 when they're talking outside in the hallway about how Jaune isn't being a good leader for his team and he needs to be. And it's just, like, I don't understand this. And it's weird. I think it's a weird choice to make Jaune much older suddenly. Thank you, 2 in a row. Thank you, Kaio. And WBY will, of course, notice all of Jaune's problems immediately while still ignoring Ruby. For real, right? Thank you, Anton. Punished Jaune, I know. Thank you so much. I just... And they will totally, because now he looks different. You have to wear your trauma on your sleeves for people to notice it, you know? People can't just read the room. It's so weird. It's so weird. It's so just weird to make Jaune older than everyone else. I don't see how this is a positive for the show or the character. I don't get it. I really don't understand. Now it's just Team RWBY hanging out, but now also with one of their friends is now a 30-year-old man. This batch of 19-year-olds and their best friend who is also a 30-year-old. I don't get it. Maybe they'll explain it. Maybe it'll get better. Let's keep moving forward. We have one more episode to do today. The Confessions Within Cumulonimbus Clouds. I know literally nothing about this episode, except I know this is where Bumblebee happens. No one else said anything else about what the rest of the episode was. Like, even when I was, like, actively, like, looking for what was happening in the episodes, I only know that Blake and Yang kiss. And it's, like, purple. So I guess we'll find out what happens. I'm excited. Is this where the opening changes? Does it become older Jaune now? Or different Jaune? A warning. This episode... Hold on. It says, warning. This content contains flashing lights which may potentially affect photosensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Okay. I know, I've seen that lots of things will have they'll have a warning, but it doesn't... Like, when we get to, like, suicidal talk in episodes, they don't have a warning for that. So just, like, as a general, I know this volume goes into talk of suicide and stuff. If you do not want to hear about that, go ahead and leave. I totally understand. This one has a flashing lights warning, so I don't know how that'll look on my screen. Ironwood and Hazel are the DILFs Jaune wishes he could be? Yes. 100% Demon's Liberation. 1,000%. 1,000,000,000%. Jaune looks like he's trying to run a starting company for kombucha. Jaune looks like he needed to take out a loan because his parents wouldn't let him have enough money to start his kombucha industry. Okay. They did ruin Hazel's DILF energy in Volume 8. They gave him a terrible outfit. Thank you, Mia Greer. They wanted to give Jaune an arc without actually needing to do it with screen time. It feels like a cheap cop-out, basically giving him a new outfit and saying, oh, he has grown, without showing us how. Yes, 100%. Also, I hate the fact that Jaune gets a new, like, regardless of the aging and whatever, Jaune gets a special new fucking design, but Team RWBY couldn't take off their jackets? Okay. It feels like they wanted Jaune to have a really big developmental thing, but also they knew everyone would complain about it, because Jaune always gets special treatment, and they're both indignant, and also pandering as hell. Like, they're so, like, they hate the fact that people say these things, but they also need to pander to the people who say these things. So, they want it to happen, but they want to be sassy about it. I paused the opening because I wanted to make sure I focused on Jaune when he showed up, because I think that's the thing that changes. I do appreciate a changing opening for shows. It looked the same to me. I can't. I'm doing my best, guys. Alrighty. There it is. I saw it! I saw the change in the opening. It was much more apparent than I thought it was gonna be. I thought the single nanosecond was going to be the part that changed. I was wrong. Alright, let's go. Oh. Oh, it's happening. It's Jaune's story now. Now Jaune gets to fall into the fart cloud. Oh, but he gets to do it confidently, because he needs to protect Crescent Rose. I hate hearing voice grunts. I hate it. I never like it. I see the flashing lights thing now. I understand why that warning was there. Okay. It's not good. It was bad, you guys. He's older because literally they just wanted him to be. That's it. We were able to come up with a weird, dumb fucking excuse to make him older now. That's it. We just wanted him to be older. Miles was tired of doing the little boy voice. So now Miles can pretend like he's a cool guy and do a cool guy voice. And that's why we've done this. He's older now. That's literally it. I am stunned by the stupidity of this decision. Why? Why do they want this? Is it just because Miles is getting old and he's tired of voicing a small boy character? Is that it? Really? This doesn't add to the story. Why? Jaune can develop without having to age 20 years? It's dumb. It's stupid. I don't like it. It's a bad choice. Why? But why? But why? That's the thing that I'm befuddled by. It just doesn't make sense. From a story perspective. It would be like if in the middle of Avatar: The Last Airbender, they're in Ba Sing Se, and they're trying to find Appa, and then suddenly, an episode happens where Uncle Iroh is now suddenly a fit young man because he stumbled into a time dimension. But why? How does this help anything other than just aesthetics? It just feels like an aesthetic choice. I don't understand how the writers sat there and looked at the flow of their story arc. The mountain. You all remember that one? The mountain? This great bar, thank you. Critter, continue, they do answer it. I'm just not happy. But thank you, great bar. I just don't understand why this was a decision they came to. How does this fix things? How does it help things? Ugh. Fucking shut the fuck up. I'm going to fucking explode. You can't have it be, OMG, look how fucking sad we are. It's so sad for Jaune. He's going through a really hard traumatic thing, and then immediately dive into zippy round comedy, and Weiss thinks he's hot now. Is that why he's older? Because Weiss wants to think he's hot now? I'm not okay. I'm not okay. Fucking daddy's issues schnee. Thank you, KO. Weiss TM brand jokes. Weiss TM brand comic relief bad jokes at worst times. For reals. Look, our 19-year-olds now think Miles' character is hot. Isn't that fun? That's what we're doing. That's what we've done. Our 19-year-old characters now think Jaune is hot. Aren't you laughing? Isn't it funny? That's what we wanted after that sad ass little scene is ha 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 scream screams. Okay. I'm glad we're having this conversation. I'm glad they're actually talking about it. They're actually talking about if it mattered. That's a good conversation to have. I know it's going to be ruined by following it up with an immediate joke moment. But Yang just said, that's how Ironwood thought. You don't feel that way, do you? That is not what Ironwood thought. RWBY said, what's the point of saving everyone if Salem's just gonna destroy the world anyway? That is not what Ironwood thought. What Ironwood thought was, save as many people as I can while I can. Get everyone I can onto Atlas and fly away to save them. That is not what Ironwood thought. Ironwood wasn't just like, it's all gonna die anyway, so why bother? If that's what you think Ironwood thought, no wonder you villainized him. If you're that fucking stupid, you thought that's what Ironwood was thinking. And to immediately, like, thank you, Life Metal. That's a good name. You've ruined this for me permanently by thinking, aww. But you have a cool name, thanks. And for RWBY to be, like, legitimately questioning decisions that they've made. Like, that's a good thing to do, you know? To go back and be, like, look at things from all angles. And for them to be like, the villain thought that way. Are you gonna be a villain? Like, but maybe, rather than sit there and be like, you're gonna be a villain, maybe this could become a thing where it's like, maybe he wasn't as bad as we thought he was. But I know they won't do that. Because they never do that. They never do the smart thing. Hey girls, are you done being like emotions? Come on. I know I've been here for 30 years, but like, hurry up. Stop being sad. Fuck. I hate everything they've done with Jaune. I hate his voice. I hate his design. And again, it's gonna be like 90% just walking, I bet. Thank you, Marie! Yeah, you're not thinking like, Ironwood, are you? Pulls out Twitter. I'm gonna cancel you. For real. Oh yeah, we were following a cat around. After all this time of Jaune being mad at us for, like, you know, processing, we forgot to mention the fact that there's been a cat this whole time. Thank you, Great Par. You've been doing a bunch of stuff today, Great Par. Critter, you got that backwards. RWBY was saving everyone while Ironwood was on saying can and protecting Relic. But with as much as people as he could, though. Like, with, like, on Atlas. Like, it wasn't like, get rid of everybody, they'll all die anyway. Ah, bah. Here come the storms. Get it? It's that same thing we were talking about last time, where the conversation has gone for the worse, and so it's getting darker. I feel like it was more clever last time. But I'll take it where I can. I like good directing where I get it. There's a lot of process. A lot going on. Is the cat evil? Suddenly the cat seems evil. I've gotten, like, hints. Like, he seems not wholly trustworthy. But I hate Jaune. I hate Jaune being like, why didn't you tell me there was a cat? We were getting to it. We just did. It's like, why are you letting that thing take you around? You don't need it. We don't have time for this. And he's so angry about everything. It's just a volume of like 3 pissy little bitches who also insist on being comedic all the time. I just... brother? What? Oh, so much happening. Once again, as soon as things start getting interesting, they cut away. Every single time. Like, we're having an interesting moment. Everyone freaked out about RWBY, Weiss, Blake, and Yang being human, but no one cared that Jaune was human? Did he just hide that he was human this whole time? Did no one ask? Did no one care? Why didn't we, like Jaune was like, oh, what happened to Lewis? So Ascension is like death or erasing or whatever. And he was like, what happened to Lewis? Alex's brother. And rather than like explain it, we're now gonna cut away. And maybe we'll explain it. But I bet it'll take a while to get there. Oh, I hate fucking Jaune's voice. I hate Jaune's new voice. I do not like his performance. I think it is so try-hard. It sounds like Shadow the fucking Hedgehog. You know? Have you ever played the Shadow the Hedgehog game on PlayStation 2? Where he's running around and he's like, where's that damn Chaos Emerald? It sounds so like middle school trying to be edgy because I threw in a swear word every now and then. And Jaune's like, damn it, things are going bad. You're a bad cat. You're a bad kitty cat. Blah. And it's so fucking try hard. I don't like it. Why did the storm automatically separate Blake and Yang? I imagine this is going to lead to them kissing each other. Did it know we need to talk to Blake and Yang? Did we not just automatic? Like, what? I guess it's convenient. Must have had something bigger to work out. Them freaking out about wanting to kiss each other is more important than figuring out how to get home. That's the bigger thing they need to work out. They haven't even like teased each other much. It's been the same thing that we've seen for volumes now. And the storm is like, listen, you all are trying to go home, and you all just learned that you might be facing sudden death, and there's betrayal amongst you. But the fucking blonde and the cat want to make out, and that's really bothering them, apparently. Also, just because you have Jaune sound bored and fucking pissy with all his dialogue, I know it's portraying the fact that this is something he's dealt with so much that it's just a common occurrence, he doesn't care. This is more like getting stuck in traffic than an adventure for him. But that just makes it seem like this is something I should be irritated about also. He just sounds mad about everything, and it makes everything seem like an issue or a problem. Like, you can have him be pissy about it, but have RWBY and Weiss be like, OMG, this is kind of interesting. But Weiss is also just pissy about it. They come across a magical world of fucking fantasy, and the entire time, they just sit around hating every aspect of it. It's like if you go to it's like if you went to Disneyland, and it was you and your three best friends, and the entire time your three best friends are just pissed off about all of it. It's like, I don't even like the teacups. Mickey Mouse is stupid. Why would you want to get a picture with Goofy? No, I don't want to go on the Tower Terror, okay? I won't enjoy it. God, this is really the pits. Like, it's every single character. They all just hate it, and it makes it not fun. I'm trying to be wowed by this nifty Wonderland shenanigans, and instead it treats every single problem that they come across like it's a chore. If you wanted Blake and Yang to fucking make out, have them talk to each other. That's another thing. No one's talked to each other all volume. What they've done is jabber at people. And people have jabbered at them. The prince just blabbered on and on and on, and then that was over. And then they blabber on and on to the cat, and then that's over. And then they blabber on and on with the herbalist, but they're not having discussions with each other. Every time they attempt to start a discussion, it's immediately interrupted, and they get sidelined with something else. Like, yeah, each character is getting many lines of dialogue, but they're not talking to each other. If we wanted to set up Blake and Yang making out, have more. Have them talking to each other a little bit. Have them, think maybe we could start doing a relationship, but they don't know what to do, they're confused, and they should focus on getting home. Then we could get to this part. Let's keep going. Use your semblance. Use your semblance. You've crossed bigger gaps before. You've ascended towers. Getting to a platform should not be that hard. Ooh, I saw that. Ruby's mirror was summer. Her reflection. Oh yeah, put that stock image in there. That's cool. Oh! We're reusing the soundtrack from the end of Volume 8 here. It's a very good song. I like it a lot. It's the one where Atlas falls, and then it leads into the credits song. It's the very, very, very end of Volume 8. Thank you, Adam. I did warn you'll lose your sanity. I wasn't expecting it to happen this way, though. I really wasn't. I'm glad that, what was I saying? Yeah, they're repurposing the song from the very end of Volume 8. Cool. Good to do here, because we're doing it. We're talking it. We're addressing it. Good. That's theming. That's there's a word for it. Like a song. Like a theme. There's a word for it. I'll think about it like 20 minutes from now. Soft. I'll think about it. Leitmotif. That's what it's called. Leitmotif. Oh. So, Alex is selfish and cruel. I wish we got an example. Like, maybe we'll get to it, but yeah, sideways smirk, that's how you know that people are evil. I hope they give us an example of how she's selfish and cruel. Thank you, Jackie. Jackie Peralta. Thank you. Let's see what you gotta say. Jaune just existing, Rooster Teeth. He needs more development trauma concerning anyone with red hair. Aw man, here we go again. You're right. I really didn't want to listen to Miles now doing deep voice Jaune pretending to be really upset that he can't save people. He's not even a hero in a fantasy story. But we gotta have our special snowflake doing things, right? Alright, so, okay. Sorry, I was very quiet for a long time there. I was just paying attention to what they were talking about. Whole story. Alex is apparently the bad one. She's rude, she's selfish and stuff. I don't know how I feel about that. We haven't explained what happened to Lewis yet, either. But he said the cat, he doesn't like the cat because the cat's role is to convince people to either continue doing their role or he sends them to the tree and they can get replaced, so then they'll do their role. He calls it manipulation. It's a weird concept. Yes, paying attention hard. Big think brain moments. It's a weird concept to have because I don't see how it applies to Team RWBY very much. Like, if it was an obvious parallel to something they're going through, I would understand. But playing your role has never been, and people being upset that you aren't fitting the role you're meant to be in, has never been a thing that RWBY has ever had an issue with before. So it's weird that it's the problem here. Let's keep going. They might explain more. God, I hate pissy old man Jaune. Oh, back to the bees. Here we go. Don't use your semblances. When? Yang was just like, you'll figure it out though, you're good at that, you got a good brain. Why are we suddenly acting like Yang is like some meathead? she looks mean but she isn't. Oh, she's the dumb one. She's a meathead, she's a buff. Bleh. I saw a comment and it was talking about how it feels like they're trying to make Yang more butch-like. So, and I agree, certain things, like, she sits like a man nowadays, and whatever. And I agree, because I liked Yang, because she was she had, like, pretty, girly, feminine aspects to her, and that was a lot of fun, especially with her, like, fighting style and whatnot. Thank you, Great Bar. So again, I need to say, I don't understand what is the problem with Miles just using his regular voice. Also, we have an example of Alex cheating the Red King and stealing her knife. It's not his regular voice, though. It's more just the fact that he's just angry. Just pissy about things. I don't know. I'm not loving the performance. But yeah, Yang used to be, like, feminine. She there was a promotional picture of her where she's like taking a hot selfie in a mirror and whatever, and she doesn't do that stuff anymore. Nothing about, like, I guess Blake reads books, but she's never seemed any smarter than Yang in any situation. Whatever. How do you not know what it is yet? At least we're getting background music. Background music's coming in. Good. Good. This is cute. I will give it that. Never been intimidated by you, even when you didn't like me that much. See, it's a cute moment. It's just some of the things they're saying feel like, I guess, like making headcanons reality. Intimidated by you. Who's intimidated by you? Even when you didn't like me that much. I guess back in Volume 1, in the very beginning of Volume 1, but they befriended each other very quickly, you know? It's a very cute moment. It's being held back by the fact that the things they're saying feel more like retcons than actual things we could have been looking into throughout the story. Because there are many things they could talk about. Like, rather than trying to suddenly pretend like Yang is this meathead, angry, mean-looking person. Like, we could talk about how, I like how when I was Blake could say something like, I like how when I was trying to be closed off and run, you always insisted on still including me and talking to me. Like from Volume 1, when they were first trying to meet Blake. And Blake was, like, trying to go into her book, and Yang was still insisting on talking to her. And then Yang could say something like, I like how even when I was trying to push you away, you never left my side. You know, from, like, Volume 6, when Yang was being distant, and Blake was still trying to, like, be together and stuff. Because there are things they could be saying here, and so it's weird that they're coming up with, like, things that feel like headcanon at best. Like, not... For being... Bumblebee is so obvious. It's been so, like, front and center so much. And I don't understand why they're not leaning into those moments more. Alright, let's keep going. Yes, the universe is bending over backwards to make you guys confess to each other. That's the important thing right now. The world itself. is forcing you to just confess your love for each other. Because that is the only important thing in your universe right now. What? Yay! Yay! They did it! Woo! Yay! Hooray! Why this flower, though? That's why I made a noise. I don't understand this flower choice that they've gone with. Why not sunflowers? And belladonna flowers? Like, they have flowers that are used to represent the two of them. Why did we go with this, like, weird posy looking thing? Thank you! Thank you! Ever after. Just fucking kiss already. For real, right? Like, just say it. just confess. That's what the fandom has been asking you to do for years now. This was a cute moment. I liked it a lot. I'm not a fan of the song, but whatever. I tend to just prefer rock songs more. It's a Yuri flower in Japan. But they have flowers. Go with sunflowers. Go with purple sunflowers and yellow belladonna flowers. You know? Thank you, Great Bar. BTW. Reason I haven't really interrupted the Bumblebee is I literally gagged at the scene. Also knowing future events, I will think this as a toxic relationship. I know Bumblebee is divisive. I think the scene works. They've been basically together the entire time, you know? They've been basically canon for years now. I think it's fine. I'm glad they kissed. They've done it. Bumblebee has happened, finally. The Rooster Teeth has finally committed to representing actual LGBTQIA plus people in the show proper with our main characters. Woo! But yeah, like purple sunflowers and like yellow belladonna flowers, I think would have been more fun and would have made more sense. But yeah, it was a fine scene. It was cute enough, but I think they missed a lot of opportunities. Like, they made up things for the scene to justify it, and I don't understand why. There was plenty of other things that they could have used instead, which I feel like hinders the scene a bit, just because it makes me pause and be like, well, that doesn't make sense. like I don't understand why we seem to be completely rewriting the characters in this volume. They are, like, completely... They're similar to their characterization, but they feel like a couple of steps sideways. Not back, not bad, just different. Like, yeah, guys, look, we're not homophobic. Look, we put gay people in here. Isn't it convenient timing that, like, the moment it became, like, public knowledge that we were really homophobic and awful to our animators and stuff, that we look, we promise we're not. Yeah, I feel like we could have done this better. I don't think we needed to have literally the whole world itself bend over backwards to have them confess to each other. I think if they just actually confessed, it would have been fine, if not better. Because this feels very contrived. You know, the whole universe had to stop because it needed Bumblebee to kiss each other. They could have just confessed to each other. But whatever, it's fine. Main cast, guys. Like, some of you were talking about, like, they've had some, but I mean in the main cast. Afterin is weird. Ah, okay. Alright. Yeah, Afterin. That's weird. We've never called him Afterin before now. Shut the fuck up. Feels like I've been waiting forever for that. Fuck off. Shut the fuck up, Jaune. Thank you, Anton. The worst part is if they wanted to change the characters a bit. We had a perfect "are you really happy with yourself" scene earlier. Yes! Have them acknowledge these changes, not just retcon them. Exactly! Yes! You can have characters develop without having them just and suddenly be different. Fucking Jaune. Feels like I've been waiting forever for that. Fucking, you're the writer, dumb bitch. You could have made it happen at any point in time. Oh, but we had to wait for when they're in the fantasy, not real world, Wonderland 10 years after the show started. Feels like I've been waiting forever. You're the fucking writer. You could do it whenever the fuck you wanted. Shut the fuck up. Dumb. Way to ruin a good moment, Miles. Stupid. Fuck. Stupid. Shut up. Shut up. Thank you, Curly Art. The Bee's confession being the answer. The Beast's confession being the answer to the bridge makes it seem like the narrative/world forced them to do it instead of deciding to. That's another thing, yeah. It's like, how genuine can it be if it was the only answer to get you back home? You know? It's like if you watched a TV show, like a weird one that you have to do like things to progress moving forward. And it's like, do 10 jump ropes, you know, and then you move on to the next mission. And then it's like, make 3 baskets in basketball. If one of them was kiss the person standing next to you, you can just do that. But that doesn't mean it's, like, you mean it. And I know the intention is that Blake and Yang do mean it, but the fact that they didn't get to come to this decision themselves, they were forced to. Miles didn't write this volume. He did. He wrote the last episode, actually. I think this was Eddie who wrote this one. I looked it up earlier. Thank you again, Great Bar, and thus the true RWBY arc has begun. No, I don't like this, Jaune. You're right. I really don't like, because I did really like Jaune. That's the thing. I liked Jaune a lot better before, and this does not feel like a good direction for his character. Also, that's just a shit line he just said. Just dumb. Again, the whole, like, get it, audience? We're in on it, too. These things you say, we're having our characters say them now. Isn't it fun? Yeah, we get it. Why haven't we gotten the answer with Lewis yet? Like, Jaune had more of his story to tell. He was like we started the episode and he was like, Alex's brother, Lewis. And then we had to go through, like, the dream world confession area. And we got most of it. But we still haven't said what happened to Lewis. Is there not more for Jaune to tell us? Why, just tell us. We walked, no one here was curious? We walked all the way here and waited several hours, and no one was like, hey, can you finish that story? Thank you, Excalibur. I don't like Jaune, and I think that's the point. Yeah. What the fuck? Here, RWBY. Here's your weapon. And then her face just falls. and she looks miserable and just not thrilled. And then everyone in the room is like, yay, aren't you happy? It's like, what? Can you people just not read emotion anymore? Do you not understand? I know you all keep saying the Ruby's homophobic joke. I don't like that joke. So, I don't think it's a funny thing to joke about. Like, I get it, but I don't think it's a funny thing to joke about. But yeah, them being like, yay, aren't you happy? No, can you not, like, did you all just lose basic human empathy? Can you not read someone's face anymore? Finally. Yeah, he brought up this plot point at like the third minute of the episode. And then we had to go through all of that, and finally, Ruby's like, so can you like finish that story? Please? Why did it take so long? Just say it. Yeah, written by Eddie. I think that was terrible. I think that was a terrible fucking episode. It wasn't as bad as the third episode. The third episode was just fucking boring in every single way. This episode had so much dumb, annoying things all throughout it. And again, it's just wandering around for 99% of it. And then finally, something kind of interesting happens. And it's Blake and Yang say that they think each other are cool. They love each other and they want to date. And that's it. Like, it didn't need to be a whole episode. This distraction from the plot didn't help. The visuals didn't help. Like, we had mirrors going on with Blake, or with Jaune, Ruby, and Weiss. We had mirror stuff happening. But that didn't help. It's not doing anything. This feels like a weird waste of an episode. We had more things we could have been doing. This episode could have been chopped up and spread into other episodes. You know? I didn't like it. The other two episodes were fine. 4 and 5. 5 I can barely remember. We just watched it. Feels like a lot of nothing's happening. But this is a filler arc for sure. So much just wandering around. And yeah, it looks kind of neat. I'm glad the environments are all different and distinct looking. But it's just wandering around. It's doing nothing. I don't, like, the fact that we had to stop everything, and literally, it's like, the most pressing thing for Blake and Yang right now is to kiss each other. That they need to get their own special, separate little world, their own crossroads world, because that's the most important thing. Thank you again, Great Bar. Oh god, how those is going, I think this might be your worst volume. I don't know. Episode tier list so far. Thank you, Excalibur. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3. Interesting choices. I would say the best episode. I'll say thank you, Carter. Volume 9 honestly should have just been a movie. Yes. Would have fixed so many of the pacing issues and cut down on the BS. Could have just gotten this instead of Justice League. Yes, 100%. This could have been a movie. This could have been a very interesting RWBY's first movie. Fix the pacing, you know, because a lot of it's just like the wandering around saying nothing. You know, it took a whole episode for Jaune to say Alex was a liar, and I think she traded Lewis so she could go home. Like, it took this whole episode for us to get just that little bit of information. And it's not, like, the wandering time isn't helping, you know, the comedy, you know, all of it. It's just, if I was to rank the episodes, best one, I'm gonna say... God, they're all so boring. That's the hard part. They're hard to remember because of how boring they are. Thank you, Marie! Think of the bees, critter. Think of the bees! The Bumblebee scene was fine. Again, weird decisions they went with for the things they said, but I liked it enough. I wish getting to that point made more sense. You know, they present it as if it's a very important crossroads, like this is a really big thing, but theirs is so, and they're here because they want to go home. That's the thing, the crossroads is here because we want to go home, we don't know who to trust, we don't know what to do, except for Blake and Yang, their crossroads is, do I want to boink each other? Do I want to date this person? We're also going to jump to love right off the bat. We weren't dating before, but now we're going to say, I love you. So, okay. I guess my favorite episode might have been the second one. God, I could barely remember it. It's just so much nothing happens. Like, you remember, like, the one interesting thing. And it's like, because my gut reaction is to say have episode 5 be my favorite one so far, because I really liked the blacksmith. But then when I think about the rest of the episode, I'm like, I don't know, you know? I don't, like, the rest of that doesn't feel good. I guess, because I remember it better. I'll go, best episode was the 5th episode. Hey, one of my dogs woke up. Best episode was the 5th episode. Second best was the 2nd episode. Third best was... Third best was 4. Episode 4. Fourth best was episode... Then it's episode 1. And then it's 3. No, 3 was the worst. The 3rd episode was the worst episode. It's just fucking boring. Thank you, Great Far. I'm actually a bit scared as the 2 new episodes are great, but I hopefully think you'll enjoy them, then also might be a bit defensive on them. That's okay. If we disagree, I appreciate your opinions anyway, and I respect what you think and feel. I hope these episodes haven't been terrible. It's just been like, the things that I think are bad are very, very bad. You know? That's the biggest thing. Except for I really can't stand Jaune now, which is such a shame. I'm so disappointed with how Jaune has turned out. Maybe he'll get better, you know? Maybe I'm just really upset that this is the direction they've gone with for Jaune. But I don't think so. But I think I'm excited, you know, moving forward. Episodes 7 and 8 tomorrow. I don't know what happens in episode 7 and 8. I think episode 7 is the one where Moist Critical was talking about. I'm pretty sure. Or maybe that's episode 8. I don't know. I'm excited, because, again, from this point on, I don't really know what happens. So, and I knew that Bumblebee happened. Oh, let's look at the bingo board to round off this stream. Bumblebee happened. Bumblebee will get crossed off. Weiss gets to develop. I'm bummed that's not going to be one, because it seemed like that was going to be. I won't give up hope yet. Anything could happen in the last few episodes. Yeah, but I think just the Bumblebee thing is something I can cross off for now. Interesting. So, yeah. Well, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thank you all so much for showing up and hanging out and stuff. Thank you, everyone who's done super chats. That's all really, really cool. Thank you. That's awesome. I appreciate it. Sorry if I know a lot of people do really like this volume, and I'm clearly not into it too much. I do ship Rose Garden. Kinda. Like, I'm fine with it. Of all of Ruby's ships, I think it's the one I'm the most into, but nowadays I'm kind of feeling like Ruby's asexual. Like Arrow Ace. But I do ship Rose Garden. I do think it's cute. Thank you, Not All That Evil. Get excited, 7 or 8 are the only good episodes. Ew. So tomorrow, sounds like it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun one. It'll be shorter tomorrow, maybe. Maybe I'll rant even longer, because this stream went on longer than the first one did. But yeah, it'll just be 2 episodes tomorrow. It's episodes 7 and 8, which is gonna be exciting. I hope I'll see you all then as well. So yeah. I think that's everything. Thank you everyone for showing up. Have a nice rest of your day. And I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, for some more RWBY Volume 9 goodness. I'll mull over everything that I've seen here. Which one is Rose Garden? That's RWBY with Oscar. Yeah, I'll just think about everything we've seen here, process it all and stuff. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.